Today we are joined by Professor Dr. Mayank Dhaundiyal, who is a professor of strategy and entrepreneurship, as well as Vice Dean at the Jindal School of Banking and Finance. Professor Dhaundiyal did his master's and his PhD from the Dublin Institute of Technology. Welcome to the show, Professor.
Delighted to be here.
So Mayank, I wanted to ask you about what you do for a living in terms of entrepreneurship. And entrepreneurship seems to be a buzzword that we are hearing more often than not, along with another buzzword, innovation. Now, over the years, we have seen a shift from, let's say, imitate to innovate. Now, do you think that this has been a particular shift on the part of the government? Are we trying to do something new, especially in light of the new education policy?
I think I would say both, and let me explain. So, what we see, India is at the cusp of becoming a superpower, right? When we talk about our demographic dividend, the numbers are just staggering. We're looking at a population base of 1.35 billion now, almost going towards 1.5, which will make us the most populous. And our young population below 35 years is more than double of the United States. It's greater than the G7 countries combined. This is just the young population. So the numbers are just staggering. The potential is huge. And in that context, what we also see is that there is a quite a lot of unemployment, and the skill base of these young people is not up to the mark. Many of them are not employable. And in that context, these problems are very unique to the country, and therefore, we need solutions that are customized to our needs. And therefore, innovation holds special importance, and so does entrepreneurship. When we talk about innovation and entrepreneurship, they are intrinsically linked, because when we're talking about entrepreneurship, you're talking about solving a problem that is felt in the society, and you are talking about solving it innovatively, something that's not been done before. Either it's completely new, or it's some kind of a new method that makes it new. And in that context, entrepreneurship and innovation both are important. I see that the government is also trying to push it, and I also see that it's generally a buzzword in the sense that we have seen a lot of great success stories, from Oyo to Ola to Flipkarts and your Paytms. And these are really the role models for the young generation of India, and therefore there is a lot of interest in the population basis.
All right, let me ask you this, Mayank. I know that the Jindal School of Banking and Finance is starting a BA in Entrepreneurship and Finance next year. Apart from standard programs or courses that universities or colleges can run, what other role can higher education play in promoting innovation and entrepreneurship?
I see a very important role for higher education institutions, especially someone like Jindal Global University, which is ranked as the #1 private university. You're correct that we are starting our BA in Finance and Entrepreneurship, and the whole idea and the whole overarching theme for that program, it's a very hands-on program. Okay, and when I say that, what I mean is that we are looking to transform a student who's a class 12th pass out into entrepreneur, who's very financially aware. And in doing that, the way we have designed the program is to keep it very keep it very topical, keep it very relevant to the times, and keep it very hands-on. So in addition to normally theoretical inside classroom lessons, a lot of emphasis is on the skills-based training that will transform this class 12 student into a successful entrepreneur. Generally speaking, what we see is that there is a lot of emphasis on theory and inside classroom classes. There are 3-4 things that we need collectively, the higher education institutes need to do in order to make sure that there is a lot of the grads or graduates of the programs which are coming out, they understand the real world. One of the things that's very popular, in a lot of the B schools is, for example, I'm just quoting an instance here, is case study methodology. And when we say case study, we are talking about everything in hindsight, something that happened 5, 10, 15, 20, sometimes 30 years ago. Now that has its own relevance, but what also needs to be done is live projects. because when you talk about hindsight, that tells you one aspect of the whole situation, but the student also needs to be put in a real a live situation so that he she can understand the dynamics better. So one of the things that we need to do is bring in a lot of live projects into the curriculum. The second thing, especially to promote entrepreneurship and innovation, is that what we also need to do is to equip these kids as to the skills and the knowledge so that they can launch a venture, and that goes beyond theoretical classes and theoretical lessons. Okay, if you talk about the BA program, BA Finance and Entrepreneurship, we have made sure by intensive workshops that these kids are equipped to launch their own ventures.
My last question to you, Mayank, and this has been a fantastic conversation so far. A lot of parents and students come up to me and ask that being an entrepreneur is inherently risky. So my question to you, Mayank, is that would you agree that entrepreneurship is inherently risky? Second, is an entrepreneur born, or can you train somebody to become an entrepreneur?
Excellent question, Arjo. I think I get myself asked this a lot. I would say that being an entrepreneur, there are two aspects to it, and one is the attitude and one is the aptitude part. Okay, what higher education institutes can do is build the aptitude part, as in give him the necessary skills and the knowledge base so that he understands the various nuances of this entrepreneurship journey. Okay, the other is the attitude part, which you cannot do much about it. Attitude comes from within an individual, and whether that individual is ready to take that amount of risk to become an entrepreneur.
Well, you heard it right over here. You need to have the nature as well as the nurture to become a successful entrepreneur. That was Professor Mayank Dhaundiyal of the Jindal School of Banking and Finance talking about entrepreneurship and the new education policy. Stay tuned and into this space for more conversations at JGU.